For today's cup of coffee, we're going to delve into the realm of what could be considered necromancy, but not really. Necromancy is when you are actively seeking communication with the dead, and that is in attempt to find out some kind of knowledge or whatever, which I've never understood. The dead are out of the loop. How do they know? I guess if you're looking for something that happened in the past and some kind of an explanation, I can sort of see that. These are things that are forbidden practices, and they're dead. Let them rest. What I'm wanting to discuss primarily is when the dead want to talk to you. And I have had that experience in my life. And that's one of those that when you're younger and you don't know how to protect yourself as far as with some of the supernatural gifts, psychic gifts, whatever you want to call them. And when you have spirits that recognize that somebody can hear them, oh, they'll cluster. And the experiences that I had was especially different locations that you would have higher activity than you would others. And when there was a entity near me, I would become physically cold. It was almost like they were stealing heat from me. That was one of the ways that I knew that there was an entity present. Also, as far as I would become shaky. I don't know why. And then it was not like a normal, like you're hearing me now. It was more of an internal type of hearing. Sort of like second sight. You don't always see it with your natural eyes. You see that on the back of your brain on some experiences. It's very difficult to put into words some of the paranormal experiences, which is why I grasp and grapple with a lot of them. One time in particular, I was near a river, and I did have a witness with this. And the activity there of the entities, I don't know why that they were thicker there than other places. I don't know if it was because that it was near a river. I don't know the history exactly of that land, but there was not one specific voice because there were so many of them, and it was just this murmur, and it was very much like this, and it was just very unnerving. And it's like, no. And so you have to learn to say no. You know, there are times that I have had in a house that actually was not that old, and that I was just in there. I was working for a realtor at the time, and it was his brother's house. I went through the house just to see what it was like so that I could write a sales brochure for the home. And as I'm going up the landing of the stairs, internally I hear this voice that says, "Do you want to see me?" And I'm like, no, I don't. And I am audibly talking to whatever this is, which probably came from the land that the house was built on. I was explaining to this entity, look, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. I will be out of here, very quickly. And I was out of there very quickly. I have learned over the years that it's okay to say no, that you don't want to hear them. I know that there are some people that's their gift, that they do talk to these different spirits. I don't, and the reason I don't is because you've got a lot of things that are pretending to be past relatives and may not be. And that's just, like I said, if my relatives that have gone on, they've pretty much said all they needed to say while they were here. And so that's just my peculiarity about it. There are certain crystals that I do wear on a daily basis. There's some, and I switch those out, that has to do with you have a feel of what you need. Just like you have a hunger, one day that you may want a hamburger, the next day you want a pizza. Okay, some days I may want to wear lapis, some days I may want to wear clear quartz. And that it is okay to say no. No, I will not communicate with you. No, this is something that you need to contact God. I have asked entities before, if you are of God, then you're welcome here. If you are not of God, you cannot stay. You have to leave. One of the most unnerving things later was when 90-some-year-old great aunt was living with my mother, that there were periods of time that she was talking to someone that no one else could see. And we don't know if it was a matter of herself, if it was a matter of the dementia and she was having hallucinations. In Mom's house, it's hard to tell what she was talking to for real. But what I would hear from my vantage point in the dining room was, and it's like, oh God. And it's like, no, we're not going to do that. So if you've had experiences as far as if you personally have had someone who has passed that has tried to communicate with you, if you know of other people that are psychics that talk with those who have gone on, if you've got supernatural, paranormal, UFO, if you've got alternate reality experiences with or without substances, whatever kind of supernatural experience, please take the time, it won't take you that long, to sit down and type me an email and send it to cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And you all have a beautiful, blessed day.